Man, what up, world? What up, family? It's your boy Mac with Stay Ready Boxing TV coming at you with another episode of Trill Talk, Pillow Talk. We giving it to you straight like God gave it to Moses, raw and uncut, but
Mhm.
we're here today because this is another episode. I'm bringing Travis Campbell and Danielle Campbell on from the Black Arms Gun Club because I really need y'all to understand the importance it is to exercise your Second Amendment rights. I know we talked to Stephanie Marie in the past, but this one here, they're going to also give it to you from somebody outside of the state of Texas. So if you're in the state of Florida or and you don't understand how you should go about things in Florida, they'll be here to kind of help you out with them. So if you got any questions, feel free to ask, and they'll try to answer your questions as clear as possible. And how are you guys doing today?
Yeah, we're good. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, I'm well. I can't complain.
Man, I appreciate y'all for giving me this time today.
It's no problem, brother. Anytime, man. Anytime we can come out and speak to the people and help out. We're here.
All right, man. Salute, man. Shout out to DB in the chat. Mark Wonderlick is in the building. The Black Banner is in the building. Hustler Slim, the Architect One, Shaquita Dowell, T.S. Frank. Man, I appreciate you guys for coming through. Y'all the first ones in the building, but we're gonna get to everything. So what made you guys? I know you didn't start Black Arms Gun Club, did you?
Oh, I started it.
Oh, you started it. Okay.
Yeah, I started it as a affiliated chapter of the National African American Gun Association.
Okay. Now, I'm actually talking to the president of the Houston chapter now about to join.
Oh, that's what's up, man. Yeah, join, build, man. It's a young, thriving organization, man. We need as much talent, as many resources as possible to kind of like get this message out to the community and really build on the mission, to get our people armed, to get them educated and protecting themselves, and being more self-sufficient when it comes to self-protection and just being within line with the tradition of Black arms, our tradition of firearms in the Black community.
Yeah, and that's something that us as African Americans need to understand. Period. Is that we have the right to be able to protect ourselves. We have the right to own guns as well. You know what I'm saying? Somebody asked, "Are you a member of the NRA?"
No. Negative.
No.
They don't rock with us like that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to whatever man, the Sierra F and Ronald Hatches. I see you in the building. The NRA don't rock with us like that, so we rock with ourselves. That's where you got National African American Gun Association, old NAGA.
Yep.
It's a couple of other ones. I can't think of them right now, but it's a bunch of Black gun clubs you should look at in your area, and just go talk to them and see what they can do for you, what kind of information you can get, and things like that.
Yeah.
So, what made you decide to start that particular gun club in your area? Where you from?
Isolation. I think like a lot of Black people, like we were talking earlier, a lot of Black people, it's a taboo. Gun ownership in the Black community is a taboo. Firearms are a taboo because of gun violence and gang shootings and, little kids getting hit with stray bullets. So because of that, if you become a legitimate gun owner, often at times you might find yourself being a little isolated within our communities. And myself and a lot of my members were in that place. Fortunately, I ran into the National African American Gun Association, and it was pitched to me to start a chapter here because I was looking for other members here, and there weren't any chapters. Obviously, they couldn't give me people's information, but I was just looking to link up with other like-minded people, and learn, walk this path and learn about firearms, So I was the one to break the grounds here in Miami. Fortunately, it's been a beautiful journey, but yeah, isolation was the reason why.
I understand. So, how many members do you guys have currently in your chapter there in South Florida?
Currently, we're around 40.
Okay, nice size.
But we're obviously, because of everything happening now, we're bringing in quite a few people. We've had quite a few applicants, and few is just an understatement. But yeah, well, we're trying to figure all of that out. But yeah, we're currently at 40.
Okay. And Miss Danielle, you're on the outreach and development for the communities.
Yes. So go ahead.
I was going to say, so what does that consist of as far as the Black Arms Gun Association Club?
So the outreach consists of going out into community spaces and talking to people in the community or Black people that I see that are other firearms owners. I might run across people in the range, maybe just even having conversations on Facebook. And then I handle the onboarding process for new members, new applicants into the gun club. So we have a pre-application process that we have people fill out and complete, because we want to make sure that not only the club is a good fit for new members, but that new prospective members are a good fit for the club. We're like a very, very close-knit family. And so we're very careful about what type of energy we bring into the space that we operate in. And then the community development component is just really developing programs and services to service our community. And so we do bleed control, firearm safety, and things of that nature to try to, bridge that gap between Black people and firearm ownership, and understanding that there's more to just, having a gun or having some, ideas or wanting Black unity, that there are things that are going to happen after a shot might be fired, and that we have a responsibility as it pertains to those things as well.
Okay. So do you ever talk to people that are currently gun owners about the safety and more training? Because one thing that I've learned recently, I just started doing tactical training, and even as accurate as I am already, he's made me just in my first lesson way better than I was, like just that quick.
Yeah.
And I thought I was good, as far as the basics, the fundamentals. He taught me things I did not know about at all. So, do y'all ever tell people that might not be a part of the gun club or something, that safety tips and things like that?
I'm always encouraging people to train. And a lot of people, they or like how I used to be before I got paired up with BlackArms. I had guns, but I had no idea what I was doing. I'd go to the range maybe twice a year, just to make sure I could still push some bullets through. But I was what I now know to be an irresponsible gun owner. So we have a responsibility to consistently train. The more you train, the better that muscle memory is. So even if you don't have the funds to go out and get in a training, you can go on YouTube for just about anything. You can watch videos that'll teach you how to dry fire, to help build that muscle memory, so that when you do get in the range, you are, a little bit better than you were the last time you went. So you have to consistently train. It's
right.
Use it or lose it.
Yeah, dry firing is important in terms of competency with your firearm, which is paramount for firearm safety. You don't want to be picking up your gun. Every time you pick it up, you're shaking, your hands are shaking because you feel uncomfortable. That's not a good sign. So definitely the follow up on what Danielle was saying, dry firing is important. And for those of you who don't know what dry firing it is, it's when you take all the ammunition out of your firearm, take the magazine out of the firearm, take the round out of the chamber, and you dry fire and go through the motions as if you're shooting. And you'll practice the fundamentals, which are grip, sight alignment, and trigger squeeze. Those are the basic fundamentals that you could practice with dry firing. So that's the. And
also a really great way to practice drawing from concealment.
That's what I've been practicing, my drawing, like picking it up, coming out, and just you know.
getting around articles of clothing.
All of that muscle memory, you know, this is a perishable skill set. Once you've acquired it, you have to keep it up. You gotta stay up with that upkeep.
One of the guys in the chat asked, "What is the youngest age to start teaching your kids?" I started mine at 5. Is that too young? I personally don't think so because I started shooting guns at 5. So
I would say it's the earliest age. Like, for example, my son is 7, but I haven't started with him yet because he still doesn't take commands well. So I would say that it would depend upon the child and when you are confident that that child can listen to what you're saying. Like if I say stop and he stops on a dime, that's when I'll feel comfortable teaching him with live ammunition. And so he's had a firearm safety. You know, he knows what it is, he knows what it does, he knows, you know, not to touch it. So he knows those things. But as far as, you know, getting him on the range, he's not there discipline wise yet. And so it really does depend on the child.
okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to G5 Gabe in the super chat saying salute Stay Ready Boxing TV and chat fam. Salute to the Wrench Gang. Salute to the panel guests. Keep up the great work, man. I appreciate it, family. I appreciate it. The Black Banner saying, "Can you explain the Castle Doctrine to us?"
The what?
The Castle Doctrine.
Oh, Castle Doctrine.
Yeah.
Castle Doctrine is, if I were to put in layman's term, is a man has a right to protect his castle, your abode, your house.
Yeah.
You know, if someone breaks into your house, you have the right to use deadly force to protect yourself and your castle, basically.
Yeah. And in some states, I know Texas is one. I can't say, oh, your car is an extension of your home. You can have your gun in your car, but they can still get you if you have armor-piercing rounds or if you have one in the chamber. So make sure you do not have one in the chamber and you do not have armor-piercing rounds in your gun when it's in your vehicle.
The best thing to do is for you to actually go online, research these particular laws.
Yes.
Around vehicles and car theft. I know, you're not allowed to use deadly force to protect property like that, like a purse or what have you. But it's a slippery slope. So if someone's using like a firearm or a weapon, then you can then use your firearm or whatever mace or a baton to defend yourself. But the best thing for you to do is to seek legal counsel on those things, just to make sure that you're going to be protecting yourself on the legal end.
Yes. You can buy insurance for yourself as well. That's a good idea if you are a gun owner to purchase insurance, because if you ever have to use your gun, you need protection for yourself. So what are some basic safety tips you would be one of the first things you would tell somebody who's a first time gun owner?
The 5 basic rules of firearm safety: never point your firearm at anything that you don't intend on destroying. Keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. Know what's beyond your target. Never try to catch a falling gun. And what's that last one? It's so ingrained in me. All of the rules are so ingrained in me that to fire them off, I think the best thing for you to do is to Google that last one, man, because I can't get it. I can't get it. And don't cheat yourself, man. Google that. They're called the Universal 5 firearm safety rules.
Yeah. And matter of fact, because of this last comment and my will, I appreciate you for coming through. because she said, keep up the great work. This information is valuable, especially for those like me who know nothing about guns. She know nothing about guns, and she's in the military. So my question is,
Wow.
how important is it for us as a culture to exercise our Second Amendment rights?
You want that, Danielle? All right.
Oh
You
God,
want me
it's
to?
that's very important. So we, as everybody can see, we're living in some crazy times. And
Mm-hmm.
the truth of the matter is, we're not afforded the same protections that other races and ethnicities are afforded. And so if we don't know how to protect ourselves, there's a grave probability that if we get into an encounter, we're not going to make it home to our family, to our loved ones. And so there are other methods of self-defense. You know, you could go toe to toe, but we see what happened when Ahmaud tried to go toe to toe with somebody that had a gun. You understand? So the gun is your best first line of defense.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you want to make sure that you can eliminate a threat within a matter of seconds, I always tell my kids, make it home. We'll deal with the rest as it comes. But you want to be able to walk out of the situation alive. And so you want to arm yourselves and you want to train to the tooth so that if you do find yourself in a situation, you can make it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, what are some of the things they should look for when purchasing a weapon, especially if it's their first weapon? I know everybody's not the same. You know, like I'm a bigger dude, but that don't mean I want a
Mm-hmm.
big gun. My first gun was a
Yeah.
22 handgun. So, you know,
Yeah.
that was my first gun that I purchased myself. My first gun that my grandfather gave me was a 14 shotgun at 5.
Yeah.
So, you know, but when I actually got older and purchased my first gun, it was a little 22. It had like a clip in it. I think it held like 5 bullets.
Well, for a first time gun, it just depends on what you're buying the gun for. Most people out the gate are buying the gun for self defense. I wouldn't go anything smaller than a 9mm for self defense. Usually, the shorter firearms are a little bit more snappier. When I say snappier, they have a heavier recoil. I had the Glock 30 or 43. I had to get rid of it. It was beating me up. So, and it's on the smaller side in terms of barrel length. So I wouldn't go anything less than a 4-inch barrel for everyday carry firearm. Um, so in terms of your first firearm, that's what I would say. No
And if
particular
I
brand, no particular model, just those specific specs. But go
if
ahead,
I had to
Danielle.
give any advice to a person that doesn't have a firearm and you're not affiliated with a gun club, for me, when I purchased my first gun, it was a 45, a Smith and Wesson 45, and then I realized that it was difficult for me to conceal carry it, and so I got a 380. It wasn't until I got into the club and was actually shooting more than twice a year that I realized that those guns did not agree with my fingers. Like I was chopping my fingers up, banging up my knuckles. So I would always advise people, if you don't have a club where you have members that you're cool with, like in our club, every time somebody gets a new gun, everybody's online to shoot it. So I got to test out the guys' firearms, and that's how I was able to figure out that I wanted to be a H&K bait. Before that, I had no clue. So if you don't have that access, I would suggest going to the range and renting guns and testing them out to see what fits best for your hand before you make a purchase. So you don't wind up like me. I sold both of my Smith and Wesson
I'm
because
not,
it just
even-
wasn't a good fit.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. The best thing comfortable with me is when I shoot my rifles. I love my
Oh
rifle.
man,
That's me.
like butter.
I'm a country boy. I'm good aim with that. But handgun wise, I went from a 22 to a 25 to a 380 to a 9 to a 40. Now I'm comfortable. I got a full size 1911 45 ACP. I love the hell out that gun. It fits,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm a big dude, so it's comfortable for
Yeah.
me. I shoot it great. Anybody else that's smaller than me, I wouldn't tell y'all to go get a full size 1911 45 at
Yeah.
that. But that's what I shoot with now. I still have my 40 cal, my SD Smith
Yeah.
and Wesson, and it's good. But when they get too hot, they start jamming a little bit.
Yeah. That's what you carry?
I carry my 45.
Okay.
Yeah, I keep that on me at all time. But I
Mhm.
did say I was gonna change it up and keep that in the house, and I was gonna get a short revolver to keep on me. 'Cause I don't feel like I need all them bullets.
A trusty revolver, man.
Yeah,
I need more. I need more capacity than that, sir.
I got good
Yeah.
aim.
What do
I
you
need
mean
at
you don't
least
need
I ain't
all
trying
them
to make
15.
bullets?
no bullets.
I need at least 15, man. You never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Here in
I don't.
So,
Miami, I need my
You
15
right.
and an extra mag because you just never
hmm
know.
I keep extra mags on me, but I don't. I'm gonna tell you, I got a good aim, so I don't plan on using a bunch of bullets.
yeah.
But you're
I
right. I
That's
mean,
a
don't
good
plan
thing.
on using a bunch of bullets. But I
yeah.
got to.
You
Oh, go ahead.
better to have it and not need it. You know what I
Better
mean?
need and not
Yeah,
have.
understood. Understood. That's a good advice. I might think about that on my next purchase.
Yeah. Think
Uh,
about
Oh yeah.
capacity. You know, when you're purchasing that first one. You know, because you never know, especially if you don't have a lot of experience. You don't know how you're going to respond when you go into fight or flight. You know, and have that adrenaline running through you. So it's better. It's better to have it.
yeah. My will said, how do you deal with taking someone's life though? Has there dealt with that? Have you dealt with that? I guess.
No, and
Fortunately,
I hope I never have to.
Yeah.
hmm
You
yeah.
don't plan
Fortunately,
on
not.
it. You hope you don't.
But I
What was
won't
that, brother?
hesitate if I have to.
What was that, brother?
No, I said you don't plan on it, but if it happens,
Oh,
I, I guess you got to go get some counseling, right?
Right.
yeah. Yeah, definitely seeking counseling in the aftermath. You know, and I can only imagine that's something you're gonna have to process. You know, even if you feel validated in defending yourself, it's still, from what I'm hearing, it still takes an effect and a toll on a person. So yeah,
Yeah,
reach out to your resources. You know, your family and whomever you can catch their ear.
yeah. I really, I'm an advocate for mental health as well. So I'd say the best thing, me personally, my thoughts, if that happened and you feeling that grief and you feeling that anxiety after it happened, or have some sort of PTSD, go talk to a psychiatrist or a counselor. That's the best advice I can give you.
Mhm.
So where do you start when you're looking for the perfect weapon for yourself, or should, like you said, if you don't know, is it that gun range and just trying out those different weapons like you was talking about earlier, or actually
Mhm.
going and do some research on the guns before you even talk to somebody you know that are gun owners?
I think research and getting with someone who actually has reputable experience, because you got people who have experience but they really don't have experience. You know, they're kind of doing this like play. But to get with someone, even the guys at the gun range, you know, they're gun guys. You know, they're knowledgeable. You know, to speak with them about different options or whatnot and realistic options, and then you turn around and do your research, like Danielle said earlier. YouTube, it's a great resource. They have a bunch of reviews on firearms and just cross reference. You know, that's what I
And
would
then
do.
also
That's what I
and then
do.
also for women, you also want to consider your style of dress when you are making a firearms purchase. So I have two different sizes of gun. I have a subcompact and a full size, and
Okay.
I have to, be cognizant of which piece I grab when I'm running out of the house, depending on how I'm dressed, because I actually prefer to keep my firearm on my person and not like in a purse or a bag. So that completely changes things because you want to make sure that you're not printing.
I
Yeah.
literally just bought a new holster for my gun today. Um, because the one that I have, they don't make for the big 45s. They don't make a lot of them with straps on top to hold it in. But I finally found one from a custom maker, and it should be here Friday. I just got it, so hopefully it'll be here Friday. It's a leather. My belt go through it and see how it goes. Yeah.
And it wasn't until I
outside.
became a member of the gun club that I realized how important it is to make sure that you have an appropriate holster for your firearm, because you don't want to shoot your thigh off, with
No, you don't.
an inadequate holster.
Yeah. I say the safe bet is Kydex holsters. I know you said you got the leather holster, right?
Yeah.
Am I mistaken? Yeah.
No,
I don't
when
mess with leather.
it's Velcro. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not leather.
Like,
The one I got now
well,
is
like a nylon or something like that?
yeah, I think so. It's black. It's got it's custom made. It's
Okay.
made specifically for a full size 1911 with a strap, and it's got two
Mm.
extra spots for my two clips.
Yeah, that's cool. Like the piggyback on what Danielle was saying about the integrity of your holster. Sometimes leather holsters, well, most of the time, wear and tear. That leather will start getting soft and whatnot from me wearing it every day, and sometimes people have negligent discharges with it. So you always have to be take into consideration the integrity of your uh, holster. Especially if you don't have a hard molded holster. So yeah, just keep that in mind if anyone's considering, or if anyone does have a leather holster, is that leather gets soft and it can cause you problems down the road.
So on the this is my question on the hard plastic holsters, because I was looking at some at the gun store today actually, and
Mhm.
they didn't have any for the 1911. But if I do find one, do they have it to where it doesn't fall out? Is it safely sits in there and it clips in, or
Most Kydex holsters have pretty good retention. They have screws on there that you can loosen the retention or tighten it to your liking. You know, so yeah, I think Kydex is the best type of holster you can get in terms of its durability. You have the retention factor there as well, and some like you said earlier, your holster has a capacity to carry magazines as well. Most Kydex holsters, at least for appendix, you have a design where you'll have the magazine right next to the pistol, so everything's accessible there on the front end.
okay, yeah, then that's what I'm looking for. To be honest with you, I'm gonna get that one. I do plan on getting me another 1911 too. I also plan on getting me a Beretta 92. That's
Oh,
my next one. That's my next buy. Big purchase. I ain't gonna say buy.
you
That's
like
my
heavy
next big
guns.
red purchase. Right
So
now, huh?
I take it you don't like polymer handguns, man.
No, I've had enough.
You're a full
I've had
metal
too many
brother.
problems out of it. I shoot when I go to
I
the range a lot, and I always have I got 4 clips for each gun I've ever owned. So when I'm at the range, I'm running through clips and I'm refilling.
Yeah,
Once that polymer gets hot, that gun starts that polymer reacts funny, and it starts to
uh,
jam or do things like that. And I keep my guns all and I clean them on a regular basis, especially because I consistently clean them after I shoot them. I make
yeah.
them after I shoot them, and I re-oil them down too, and I oil them after I shoot them, and I oil them before I shoot them. So I know it shouldn't be no problem, but I always have a problem with polymer guns, and I'm like, I don't even want to mess. The only ones I don't is Glocks. Glocks are the only guns I've ever had a problem with, but I just never been a Glock fan. Like I just don't like
Yeah,
the and I don't like the feel in my hand.
Glocks are for special people. No, I don't want to get in trouble, man. The Glock people gonna come for me, man. I got a Glock too. I carry a Glock every day, so I can't talk too much garbage on here, man. I got the Glock 48. I had to upgrade, man. Get a longer barrel, but yeah, I can't talk too much junk about the Glock people. I know
If
I'm
I
gonna
buy
get hell for this.
if I buy another gun, a smaller gun, and I want something smaller, I did think about getting the 380 the Glock just came out with. Thought about
Okay.
getting that. So.
All
But
right.
right now, my next purchase is another shotgun. I've been looking for a Marine Mossberg 590 for the longest,
Oh, sweet, man.
but
Sweet.
I could not find one here. So I've been looking online trying to order it. So hopefully
Yeah,
I get
you'll
it.
probably find it online, man. They got someone has it out there.
Man,
You know,
the few places I've been to, all been sold out. And the one place I finally found one it wasn't a Marine one though, but it was $399. But I'll see because that's my next purchase. I'm big on guns. Like I love my guns. I'm not getting rid of none of them. The next question from the chat said, "What's your opinion for the people who live within the big cities dealing with the equitable gun possession laws? Equitable gun possession laws. I'm sorry. Oh, I
you
guess
want that?
uh, so. Like I know you get in Texas, you get a misdemeanor for a gun possession, or it used to be possession of a concealed weapon if you didn't have your license, but it's a
Mm-hmm.
misdemeanor state. So I guess he's asking that question, but it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to answer that because it's different in every state.
Possession laws. Yeah, man. Yeah. I presume he's talking about like stricter
California
gun
and
laws.
Chicago.
Yeah,
Yeah, strict gun
in,
laws.
in big
What
cities,
I would say,
like New
what
York.
I was, yeah, what I would say is find out what type of tools you can use to defend yourself are legal in that particular state. And you know, I don't live in New York, so I don't know the ins and outs, or New Jersey, or any of these other places where they have real strict gun laws. But I would look into uh, getting a martial art like Krav Maga, something that has a very practical skill sets that you could acquire. You know, where you could easily, or not easily, but efficiently, you know, neutralize a threat. You know, um, I would look into like mace or something like that, pepper spray. You know, not necessarily a baton because you would have to actually be training with the baton and whatnot. Um, but yeah, just be smart in the type of tools that you seek out. You know, stun gun. Obviously, for a stun gun, you're gonna need a concealed carry permit. Taser, you really don't need any permit, but then again, for a taser, you have to be within close proximity. So you have to take all of those things into consideration when you're choosing a tool to defend yourself. You know, I know that people are living in states where they just don't have that right to carry firearms, and you got to figure out a way to best defend yourself and your
Unless if
family.
it
You
all
know,
possible
but
move.
there are options out there. What was that?
I said if it's at all possible move.
Oh,
Yeah.
not everyone got the money for that, but yeah, yeah. I think Mace is cheaper. So yeah.
I think Miami gonna know y'all because he called y'all blockheads and he said Travis and Danielle. I think he
Oh,
knows.
oh, oh, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We know Stephanie.
Bless Stephanie.
I think that's
Hey girl.
Stephanie. Come in with the jokes.
What you gonna do with the jokes? He said, "What keeps you more safer than a gun is being aware." I know a lot of people who died with their guns in their hands. Facts.
Yeah,
Also,
that's true.
that's why I'm taking the tactical training is because I want to. If I'm ever in that situation again, and my heart rate, I want to know what I need to do. I want to already have it in my head. Okay, I know what to do, bam. I don't have to think. It just happens. You know, I don't ever want to be in a position where that's why my name Stay Ready. I stay ready at all times.
Yeah,
Everybody get ready to stay ready. You know, so I want to be ready in any situation. Period.
yeah. That's excellent, man. We do a lot of training here, but on the topic of situational awareness, always having your head on a swivel is about changing your habits, man, altering those habits, understanding where and what are transitional spaces where you're most vulnerable. When you pull up to the house with your car, are you looking down in your phone? Are you looking around? You know, walking to your house from your car, you're vulnerable then. You know, you want to have your head on a swivel when you're in those spaces, you know? So when
And
you're
I'm one of them people when I'm I pay attention to my surroundings. I used to didn't be like that, but you know, situations happen, and everywhere I go, like I even make it a point that when I find apartments that I stay in, and kind of ducked out away from people,
mhm.
you know, I can see everything going on. It's just it's me. But when matter of fact, what is some of the training that they can take or people need to know about and should take advantage of?
First and foremost, I would say take a Stop the Bleed course. Stop the Bleed is actually in several in all of the states. I'm pretty sure they have courses that are sponsored by the government and by organizations where where you'll be able to come in for free and acquire the skill sets of how to patch up gunshot wounds, stab wounds, and learn the basics. You're not going to be a paramedic at the end of the course, but if something happens, you'll know what to do. If someone's injured, you'll know how to use a tourniquet. You'll learn about the different types of tourniquets. You'll learn how to pack a wound. You'll learn about junctional wounds and dealing with chest wounds and chest seals. So that's the first thing I would say you should go. The first class you should take. If you're going to be carrying a firearm, you should take firearm courses with a certified firearms instructor.
Okay.
You know,
I didn't even think about that. The
but
stop.
if you're going to learn
I never even heard about the stop the bleeding course. I'm finna check that out my damn self. Like I'm CPR trained.
Google it, bro.
Yeah,
Google.
I am. I just never. I've never even heard of it. That's the first I've ever even heard of that. So you know, but like I say, you never
Yeah,
too old to learn anything, and that's why I'm
yeah.
bringing
If
you
you're going to
guys.
learn how to if you're going to learn how to put holes in things, you got to learn how to patch up those holes, especially if you put a hole in yourself. So you're going to want to learn how to do that, you know, because you could bleed out within 3 minutes and die, you know. So yeah, that's paramount, man. That's first and foremost, you know.
Stephanie said, or Miami Gunner says, tell them what y'all do when you go into any new place and do not and don't know the exits.
Tell them what to do. And
And you don't know the
I,
exit? Oh no, you got to know the exits because you can't
yeah,
sit with your back to the exit. So you got
that's
to
what I
know where
was
the
gonna
exits
say.
are.
Hmm.
Or you got to be at the table with somebody else that can cover your six if you do have to sit with your back to the exit. So that requires a
Hmm.
whole lot of trust. So every time we all go out as a club, it's a fight because everybody wants to sit. Everybody's trying to sit away from the exit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but we usually got like 6 guns on the door already. Not to give our secrets, man. But yeah, we're well armed, and when we go out as a club, we're well protected. You know, everyone has their head on a swivel. You know, so yeah, I see Stephanie was saying something about CPR. CPR is also important as well. You know, but
I took first
yeah.
responders training. It wasn't so much. We learned CPR and first responders, so I got my CPR license. We learned how to handle bleeding, but never how to stop the bleeding. We learned how
Hmm.
to put the gloves, what to do, but never, you know, put pressure on the wound, things like that, but never the ins and out of somebody bleeding. I'm not a blood person anyway.
Yeah.
And that's a
Hey, man.
conversation that gets lost in translation in our communities. When the truth of the matter is, the 911 response time to our communities is so slow you know, and it only takes about 4 minutes to bleed to death. So somebody on the scene has to be able to do something other than pull out their phone and start recording. So we kind of have a responsibility to each other, especially in communities where there's lots and lots of gun violence, to have that skill set so that we can save some lives.
Yeah. More Black people have to have those skill sets, man. All of this stuff that we're talking about has to be common, like customs within our communities. You know, the self defense, not just with firearms, but just in general, and that bleeding control and that CPR. It's just like back in the day, everyone learned stop, drop, and roll. Everyone learned how to crawl when there's smoke in the room, you know, to get out of the building. These other aspects of safety are definitely paramount, and that needs to be the new wave within the Black community. That type of information of how to survive.
Yeah, and you 100% right about that. How important is this information that you're giving today right here on this platform? All this information that we're talking about, especially with your Second Amendment rights, gun safety, your gun laws. Why is this information so important to our culture, especially in the times that we're dealing with right now in 2020?
It's a matter of life and death.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of life and death, and we have a responsibility to change some of these misnomers that are surrounding African Americans and firearm ownership, because if we don't, we're limiting ourselves, and as it stands, we are the least respected group of people. And so we have a responsibility to not only ourselves but our children to start having some of these tough conversations, to get out of the mindset that guns are bad, because a gun can't do anything that the person that's holding it doesn't do with it. And so we have to start having these tough conversations so that we can change our condition here. Because we're not trying to go anywhere. So we got to change our condition here.
With the situation that happened with Ahmaud Arbery, do you think that situation could have went differently because I know he was a kid, he was young, but I have friends, literally, I have friends that stay in predominantly white neighborhoods that go jogging. One of them is a ex-football player, a friend of mine, and he literally tells me he don't go jogging without his gun. He got his concealed handgun license because he done had issues before, so he do not go jogging without his gun in his on his side. And if anybody walks up to him they don't know, he quickly pulls it out and says, and give him a little speech, whatever. Do you think that would have been different?
I wouldn't suggest you pulling out your gun on someone who is an imminent threat to you.
He don't know.
You could get locked up. Don't do that, y'all.
Headphones on, so he just he don't bother him.
Well, I live in a Black community and I don't go jogging without mine. So I think I don't go anywhere without mine.
I don't go anywhere without mine.
I think that we have a duty to protect ourselves. And so for me, I'm going out in the dark. It's like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning when I get out there. So I'm not gonna go out there by myself. I need Old Faithful with me when I go out there. I think that if Ahmaud were armed, it would have leveled the playing field a bit.
Yeah.
He might be here today to tell his story, especially after he came from around the other side of the vehicle. It may have been a different encounter.
Because they got out there with guns. So that's the Ahmaud Arbery situation is the reason I started doing this. It's like I've already been a gun owner, but I've already been preaching it. But I said I need to bring this to my platform to bring it to people that's been following me and been listening to me, that's fans of the podcast. That it's something they need to know and hear, because right now in these times, like the president just announced martial law. If you're not prepared, you don't know what's going to happen in the next coming days, weeks, months, years. because everything's going on right now. And I feel everybody at least need to prepare themselves for the worst. Period.
Yeah. Our survival.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying our survival is riding on us being prepared and us being, self-sufficient. Because we can't be fully dependent upon the government or fully dependent upon outside sources to sustain us. Especially to protect us. We see how things are happening in this country now. So that protection for me is number one. And like you were saying, it should be number one for all Black people, man, because we're all in this together. And we gotta be moving towards that point, man.
Yeah.
Where we could just be self-sufficient, man, because we're at the whims of people who dislike us, and that's speaking lightly of the situation. But,
right now, if we did need to break off and be independent, we wouldn't be able to. We wouldn't be able to survive because we don't have all of the tools. And so it's a matter of putting ourselves in a position where we can prepare for that.
One question Hustle Slim asked, what do you all think about the possible ban of assault rifles?
No such thing.
It's never going to happen. Never going to happen.
They're going to try.
Well, I will say this. It did
They're
happen.
Going to try.
Hold on. I'm sorry, it's a plane literally flying over low, and I'm not even close to the airport, so that wasn't even a helicopter, that was an airplane.
Okay.
But
you said it happened where?
In Connecticut. So in the state of Connecticut, you cannot own an assault rifle. I have a friend of mine, he is a fighter. He's been on my platform before. I don't know if you guys remember Tremaine Midget Williams. He got arrested because he had an assault rifle in his car, and he ended up having to go to the penitentiary. Got out. Now in the state of Connecticut, he has to register as an assault rifle offender.
Okay, first of all, when you say assault rifle, what type of firearm are you speaking of?
He had an AR-15.
Okay.
I have an AR.
A sporting rifle. Okay.
I got a 300 BlackArm. I hunt, so it's it's a different mine.
Yeah.
If you got a I really don't know what you shoot with a 5.56 or 2.23. So, but they can still say you can hunt with those two.
Yeah.
Potatoes,
they're adequate. They're adequate rounds, but there's no such thing as an assault rifle. No such thing. It's a made-up term.
Yeah. It really is.
But yeah, semi-automatic rifles are very legal in most states, and I think that if we have to deal with that, we'll cross that bridge once we get there. But that's what voting is for. You vote your interests.
Oh,
well, we know it's called an armor light rifle, but they're not going to say that in the media. The media perpetuates their truth to the world, and that's how everybody takes that and just start believing it. That's why you had so many. I'm trying to say this in the proper. I'm just gonna say you had so many people drinking bleach, Lysol, hand sanitizer after the president said it, and the news ran with it. So when people hear that on the news, they don't. I know it's called an armor light rifle because I built mine. I literally built mine from the lower up, put the trigger in it, everything. The BCG, I put mine together. I'm actually my next build is an AR-10 for a 308 because I want to be able to shoot 500 yards.
All right.
So like I said, I hunt. It's different.
Yeah. That 308's good for hunting, man. But they definitely exploit people's ignorance of firearms. Definitely, that's how come it's important for us to learn and get this information, you know, because the media will lie to you, politicians will lie to you just to push their agenda, you
And a
know,
lot of
just
them
because
don't
they,
even know what they're talking about when they're speaking. And you can tell by the language that they use that they don't even have any idea what it is that they're talking about.
Yes, you're right. Like she said, the media perpetuates fear. The media
yeah,
perpetuates, and they do. They're doing it right
yeah,
now with the riots going on in
Yep.
all over the world. They're more concerned about the riots and the looting. And I've been hearing this term. I just found out what was they calling them people? LVZ. You said it earlier. The Antifa people. I just found out what that term was because he mentioned it in a group text we got. I never
yeah.
even heard that term until this week. Antifa.
Wow.
And still kind of confused about the term because I don't understand where did it come from. It just came out of the blue. I even heard Rush Limbaugh using it today on the Breakfast Club, and I'm like, Antifa people. Who is the Antifa people? Just come out and say
Um,
it. White people,
yeah.
black people, you know,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
this group of people, this militia name this or whatever. But they're
Yeah,
perpetuating fear because y'all taking the media is taking away from the George Floyd incident instead of saying why these people are doing this.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah, they're definitely trying to steer the narrative, man. But we can't let them, man. I don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring, man, because
I don't
they're
even.
talking about rolling those tanks through neighborhoods and stuff. So who knows, man? But yeah, definitely can't allow them to steal the narrative. I know that platforms like some of these social media platforms, they really will censor you if you try to speak up about certain things. But our power is there. Our voice is there on social media, and I think we need to continue to speak up about some of these things that are going on,
Yeah,
even though they will try to control us there too. So
yeah, you're right. And Hustler Slim, yeah, they banned bump stocks, but they didn't ban binary triggers. So it's ways around things. But you didn't hear me say that.
well, yeah, well, in the state of Florida, at least I can only speak for the state of Florida. Along with the bump stocks, they have banned the binary triggers, the
They
echo
did.
triggers.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so I
Yeah, I
don't
just
know about Texas. I don't want to speak on Texas, but if you're in Florida,
I just was up there for to get one for my AR, but they only had them for the AK-47s right now. So yeah, I didn't.
sweet, sweet. So y'all still have freedom in Texas.
Texas is probably the most lenient state. Texas and Louisiana. A lot of people don't know
Mm-hmm.
you still go to Louisiana and buy Mac 10 and Mac 11s and Mac 90s
For
out of
real?
pawn shop.
Wow.
Yeah, in Louisiana. So Texas and Louisiana are probably the most lenient gun states that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I heard Nevada is pretty lenient, but I've only been to Vegas a few times. I don't know the gun laws, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but I heard
Yeah.
they're pretty lenient. But as far as Texas, Louisiana, I've lived in both, and I do know there's it's pretty lenient there.
Yeah.
Damn, I don't know Florida banned the binaries. What if
Yeah, because
are they grandfather? What if you already have one? Are they grandfathered in?
it doesn't matter. You know, after the Parkland shooting, it was a wrap. It
Oh,
was a wrap. There was a lot of legislation that came down after the Parkland shooting and the changing of the age that a person can own or purchase a long gun. That changed. You know, they brought in some other stuff, including the ban, which the ban on bump stocks is federal, but here in South Florida, they banned that and the echo triggers and stuff like that. I don't want to speak for any other state, but I know for sure
well,
here
see,
that
that's one of the
it's a
reasons
no
why
go.
I bring you guys on because you were in Florida. You were outside of Texas, so I wanted to understand some of the difference between yours and ours because I have people that listen to me from all over. From you got
Yeah.
D. Hodges from Boston, Ag Reacher from New York, Hustler Slim from Tennessee. You know, you got
Hmm.
Mark Wonderlich from Utah. You got people from all over that actually pay attention and listen to this platform. So I'm trying to bring people from different states that they can actually talk and speak on some of the things that goes on in their states as well. So,
Yeah,
and like I said, I appreciate y'all for even giving me this time today.
nah, it's no problem, man. But yeah, just make sure, because the gun laws are state laws, so you want to make sure that you're up to date on all of those laws because they vary from state to state. You know, you don't want to listen to us about, oh, Florida law or whatnot, this, that, and the other, because in your state you may have restrictions on that and you may not. So you just want to make sure that you're doing your research and your due diligence. A good resource, and I'm not sure if, no, matter of fact, they would. A good resource, like you were stating earlier, is getting like self-defense insurance. The NRA has self-defense insurance. USCCA has self-defense insurance. US Law Shield does as well. I personally have US Law Shield. They have a non-emergency contact number where you could get legal counsel and ask about the specific laws. I'm pretty sure you could research on that as well, or get actual legal counsel on the laws as well, or anything specific that you might want to know surrounding self-defense and whatnot. All of those insurances are well worth it if you're going to be carrying a firearm, or plan on being ready to defend yourself. So it's well worth it. It's not going to break the bank. You'll barely feel it, you know. So the cost of it,
$12 per month.
like 10, 11, around there.
It's the same price as rental insurance.
What was that, brother?
I say it's the same price as rental insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's relatively inexpensive.
Yeah. If you can buy Netflix and you're done on it, you can get this insurance.
Yeah.
I know in the state of Texas, if you get the concealed handgun license, they give you the option to buy your insurance here with them, through a company that they use. Because when you get the license, it has the number for the lawyers and everything on the back of your license, and they tell you everything you should do if you ever have to use your firearm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you know the system will try to lock you up even if you are right.
Yep. So
they'll make you look wrong.
Exactly, and they will.
Mm-hmm.
They will try their best to protect you. And I know a Texas concealed handgun license works in, is it 48 of the 50 states?
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah, reciprocity with it. Yeah, not bad.
I always tell people, like I tell my children, like try to get the insurance. But if it turns out that you're just crunched and you just really can't afford any insurance, don't have any conversations with the police. Their job is to build a case.
Yeah.
So
plead the fifth. You do have the right to plead the Fifth Amendment.
Yeah.
Know your Constitution. Know your amendments. Know, like she said, know your state laws.
Yeah, it's very important that you know your state laws and also the ordinances in the counties that you're in.
Yes.
Because sometimes they conflict, and even though the strongest is supposed to prevail, the police don't know that, and they'll still take you down. Yeah. So you want to know what you need to know for where you are.
Yeah. And Retro Boxing, the documentary said, much respect, stay ready. Over here, our gun laws are good with me. He's actually in Florida with you guys.
Oh, that's what's up, man.
That's
what's up, man. That's family there.
Yeah, that's family. That's right. Remain silent. Man, so one thing I want before you guys go, and we close this show out. How often should a person go to the range or go or sit, even if they're at home, do just little simple things to keep themselves prepared and trained and things like that?
I would personally say at least twice a month. You know, if you do it 3 times a month, you'll see it's like exercising. You'll start to become more proficient, you know, and the more you do it, it's like we were saying earlier, it's like muscle memory. but no less than 2 times a month if you really want to be serious about this. And also dry firing in between. But nothing, there's no replacement for that live fire.
Yeah, it's not. Because that dry
You
fire,
got any opinion?
that dry fire don't give you that food.
No, it doesn't, man. It doesn't. It's good for upkeep, but it's better when you're applying those fundamentals with the live fire and dealing with that recoil and trying to mitigate that. Do you have any input on that, Danielle?
No, that's you pretty much tackled it all.
Yeah. So what do you guys social media so everybody in my check and everybody that listening can follow?
All right, you could just follow our Google Black Arms Gun Club South Florida, and our social media platforms should come up. But more specifically, let me see if I could pull that up real quick for y'all so you could get an exact. All right, yeah. If you type in Black Arms Gun Club South Florida, and that's FL on Instagram, our Instagram should come up. And the same thing is on Facebook. If you want to look up our email address, you can email us at nagamiami@yahoo.com. That's NAAGA Miami@yahoo.com. And we'll be more than happy to assist you with anything. Via our social media, email, we're constantly answering questions and linking people with different resources within our own cities down here in the Tri-County area, and also taking up new membership and just trying to be a bridge of information for our community between the information that's over there, us, and our community, to try to like funnel that information into our people. So yeah, man, y'all can always reach out to us.
Yes. Man, I really so glad that you guys came. We're gonna have to do this again. We're gonna have to do this build again.
Yeah, most definitely, man.
I appreciate you. And then you have any last words before we get up out of here?
Just something small for the ladies. Don't leave your protection in somebody else's hands. You want to make sure that you have the tools to protect yourself, because the truth of the matter is, no matter how amazing your husband or your brothers or your sons are, they are not with you 100% of the time. And so you are your own first responder. That's Stephanie's line. You have to be able to take care of yourself. And so you want to go out, find a club. If you can't find a club, you find a firearms instructor and you glue yourself to that person and learn everything that you can so that you can protect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Any last words?
Thank you so much for having us.
Man, thank you so much for coming through, Danielle. And what about you, Travis? Any last words of encouragement?
Oh man, yeah, just don't be afraid to exercise your Second Amendment right. You know, it's for us all. I know that a lot of us have heard that, you know, the Constitution isn't for the black man and woman, and yeah, no, we need to embrace that, because you know, if the government's going to acknowledge our right to defense, you know, then we need to jump on that. You know, and coming from people who once had no rights at all, we need to honor our ancestors and embrace all of those rights and use them to the best of our ability.
Man, you're 100% right. That's why I'm bringing them on, and I'm going to keep pushing this narrative. Exercise the Second Amendment rights, please. I don't care if you're scared of guns. I don't care if you don't like guns. Get one. At the end of the day, you have to protect yourself. As long as this person over here have one and can harm you and your family, you need to be able to protect yourself at the end of the day. Whether you're scared of
Come to the conversation with an open mind.
Yes.
You know, go into these spaces with an open mind and listen. And you'll be surprised at how many people inbox me on Facebook that have changed their minds just by listening to me run my mouth, you know. So even I used to be afraid to like post pictures of my targets or post pictures of myself with a firearm on social media, just because of the things that other people say. So we have to those of us that are, you know, pro 2A, we can also help with changing that narrative by showing more positive images of ourselves, of Black people in comfortable spaces with firearms.
I post my target every time I go to the gun range. I don't care if it look bad or like the last
Show
time I
out.
went, it was down the head and stomach all the way across. But I'm gonna post it regardless because I sometimes every time I go to the gun range, it's not gonna be perfect.
Right.
I post it every time because I show consistency. Look, I'm going. You need to go. Check it out. Everybody
Yeah.
don't need to
Yeah.
go to an indoor range either because indoor ranges is loud.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody anxiety is not made for that. So find your outdoor range if you don't want that loud noise and you want good hearing protection and you can still shoot handguns. Indoor ranges as well. I mean
Yeah.
outdoor
Yeah.
ranges as well. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. Definitely don't just arm yourself with the firearm. Arm yourself with information. And if you are looking for a chapter in your state for the National African American Gun Association, you can go to www.naaga.co, not .com, .co, and that'll take you to the National African American Gun Association's website, and you can look up a chapter in your area. All
yes.
right, and link in with some more Black people who are shooting, and get connected with some information.
Correct. Man, and I appreciate you guys again for coming through, man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC, that's Lions Den Box community. If you didn't know, you know now. Shout out to the Black Arms Gun Club of South Florida for coming through. Sister Danielle Campbell and brother Travis Campbell that came through and blessed the platform to give y'all a lot of great knowledge, especially a lot of information. If you didn't know, you know now. Man, I
All
appreciate you
right.
guys. So make sure y'all
Thank
like,
you.
comment, and share this video to all your social media platforms. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this video below, and come back for the next one because it's gonna be. I think tomorrow I'm gonna be at the protest downtown Houston. We're doing a walk from Discovery Green to the courthouse. We'll be live, so y'all make sure y'all come check that out. We will be hearing people talk and everything. So I will be live tomorrow at the protest. So y'all make sure y'all come tomorrow. It started 3 o'clock. So and I appreciate you guys for coming through. I appreciate everybody in the chat. It's your boy Mac with Stay Ready Boxing TV. You ain't got to get ready if you stay ready, man. Peace.
All right. Thank you for having us, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.